don't want no handouts. I don't need no favors. Cause a favor could come from a hater. They'll come do you a favor and then talk about you later. Don't need no favors. I don't care if I'm dying and out. Sit in the middle of the drought. Don't help me out, cause I ain't finna be the one that y'all talking about. See me struggling in the mud, just leave me there. Don't help me help the belt. The way I'm coming is raw. Don't need no favors. I don't need no favors. Cause a favor could come from a hater. They'll come do you a favor. And
Week 5 recap, gonna jump right into it. Huge shout outs to Ron, who got the weekly high score at 81.78. I get knocked out of the knockout pool. So far, being knocked out of knockout pools, Chris in week 1, Larry in week 2, Roy in week 3, Blake in week 4, and I just got knocked out in week 5. So jumping right into the recap, all about keeping that same energy. Huge shout outs to Dwayne. I still think the man bun's atrocious, but gonna give him a shout out because he got the win. He goes to 4-1, 171.98 to my 108.28. My team was fucking pathetic. Looking at my team, Russell Wilson, 11.08, got hurt. Stephon Diggs gave me 8.9. DJ Moore gave me 8. Marvin Jones gave me 3.5. Kenny Galladay gave me 0. Fucking pathetic. Nothing else to really write home about. Honestly, I had Michael Carter on my bench, give me 14.8, but wouldn't have played him. Looking over at Dwayne's team, impressive for Eckler, 32.9. He had Leonard Fournette, give him 20. He had Jamar Chase, give him 27.9. He had Kelsey, give him 17. He had James Robinson, give 21.9. His kicker did give him 0. He had Marquise Callaway on his bench at 24.5. Chuba Hubbard, 18.4. So huge win for Dwayne. Moving on, Steven gets the win against Lamont, 156.12 to 151.06. Looking at Lamont's situation, Lamont had Jonathan Taylor give him 30.9. He had Mark Andrews give him 41.7. Almost had a Monday Night Miracle by way of his bench. He didn't really have much on his bench besides. He does have Devontae Booker, so he's already ahead of the curve. Devontae Booker is going to be one of the big pickups this week, so Lamont's already ahead of that curve. Looking at Steven's team, made all the right starts. He did have Chase Claypool on his bench. Samaje B. Ryan with 18.3. He did also get the win with McCaffrey to go on 3-2. Justin Herbert's at a beast, 50.82. So huge shout outs to Steven on that win. Moving over to Ron at 188.78 to 176.28. Looking at big loss for Larry. Both teams really scored really high. Just unfortunately, just played up the high scoring team. Larry's actually the second highest scoring team for the week, by the way. Looking at his team, Prescott gave him 26. He had Gibson give him 21.2. Adams gave him 37.5. Defense and kicker gave him over 10. By way of his bench, he made all the right starts here. And his play is ball. Just looking over at Ron's team, Lamar Jackson gave him 49.88. Between Lamar Jackson, Hopkins with 20, Evans with 29.3. Huge blue balls effect for Larry, who probably went into Monday night's game excited to get the win, but any given Monday, it seems. Moving over to Roy, he beats Blake 155.26 to 145.05. He goes to 2-3. Blake falls to 3-2. Looking at Blake's team, Jacoby Myers 9.6, Adam Thielen 6 points, Mike Gesicki comes down to earth 8.3, Corey Dillon 8.3. On his bench, though, he did have Courtland Sutton at 25, which would have made a difference for him if he had to play Courtland Sutton over any of those guys, but I totally get why he played who he played. So huge loss for Blake. Looking over at Roy, Aaron Rodgers 23.76. He had Marquise Brown at 33.5. Emmanuel Sanders 20.7. Nothing on this bench besides Cook and Julio both being on the IR. So huge win for Roy with those two people being on the IR. This one was being talked about a lot, but not really. I have my big bro James play against my cousin Theodore. Theodore goes 4-1. James falls 2-3. James loses 112.58 to Theodore's 141.82. Looking at James's team, he played John Ross. I don't know why he played John Ross, but he played John Ross 2.3. Khalif Raymond's 0. TJ Hawkinson 4.2. not really much by way of his bench. So in fairness to James, he played what he had. Looking over at Theodore's team, he told James he was going to beat him, and he did beat him pretty convincingly, by the way. Jalen Hurts scored for 20.9, Zeke 25.2, Swift at 22.4, Justin Jefferson 19.4. Again, not really much else there, honestly. Jumping over to Chris, shout out to my Haitian brother from another, who gets the win over UG 158.7 to 127.8. Looking at UG's team, he had a Scary Terry game only 8.6. Goddard only gave 4.8. Mooney gave 6.5. On his bench, he did have Miles Gaston at 31.9. He also had Kadarius Toney, who's going to be a big pickup this week because of all the Giants' injuries. So he's ahead of the curve from that perspective. Looking at Chris, he did have Saquon Barkley go down with 0.9, but he was able to still get the win. He also had Marquise Antonio Brown on the bench with 30.4. So huge win for Chris. Looking over to next week, I play against Roy. Both of us are 2-3. Ron plays against Steven, who's 3-2. Lamont, who's 2-3, plays against Blake, who's 3-2. You have Larry, who's 3-2, plays against James, who's 2-3. Theodore, who's 4-1, plays against, I believe it's Yuji, who's 1-4. And then last, you have Chris, who's 2-3, plays against Dwayne, who is 4-1. That is a quick recap for this week. I did it. I know a lot of you guys are talking nonsense and shit. I just muted you guys because I ain't got to pay no mind to you guys. Do want to again shout out Dwayne because I own it when I take my L's. Energy ain't going nowhere. I'm not changing it. Staying consistent, staying the same. So with that being said, it's only right that I play this country of Wayne. I could be your future because Russell Wilson screwed me in this league.
I can be your Russell Wilson, but I can be your future. Won't like the things I do, but you gon' like how I do it to you. I'm in the field on the body.
I can't be your Russell Wilson because he's out.
Sensational the way I do it, and you know I can be your Russell Wilson, but I can be your future.